Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Josh Ellsworth with Stahls, and I'm excited to be back with you Thursday here on the East Coast at 11 a.m. And we are coming to you with video education like we do twice a week from our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel. So we appreciate you joining myself and also Jenna over the last several months as we move through the month of June. As a reminder, we are alternating weeks. I'm coming to you this week on Monday and Thursday. And then Jenna will be with you next week on Monday and Thursday, and we'll just rotate back and forth. So make sure you shout out who you are and where you're watching from. And I have an interesting subject for us today. And it's really kind of right in the middle of a project that I'm working on. And I want to share it with you. For those of you that have been watching me, you know that I'm really hyped up on this new technology called digital screen print transfers and what it can deliver to your business and what you can make with it. So I went into the studio. It's actually been not yesterday, although I was there yesterday doing other videos, but a week ago. And during that session, I created 9 items with digital screen printed transfers. We call the product Stretch Litho Matte from Transfer Express, and you heard it here first. We're undergoing a name change with that product, so it'll be a progressive name change to start to pave the way for where we're headed. And so Stretch Litho Matte will officially become Ultra Color Soft. So remember that name, Ultra Color Soft. I'll probably say both names for the next however many months just to make sure you all understand it. But that's going to prepare the way because we will be creating new digital screen print transfer technology that will come out at some point over the next 6 months. Timing still be determined, that builds onto that formula with dye blocking, with stretch, with nylon adhesive, with a lot of other things that we're planning. So we want to just make the change now, change the name. Stretch Litho Matte will become Ultra Color Soft. And I'm going to educate you a little bit about the product and how we made these 9 items, how to make money with it, and we'll do some applications together. But before we get into all those details, I want to say hello to my friends all the way from Sweden to Canada to South Carolina. Let's see, we got a lot of people chiming in, so I'm missing the comments here. We got Texas in the house this morning. It's good to see the Pacific Northwest here as well. We have Scotland here today, Brooklyn, North Carolina, Florida. So all over the world, really. And say Virginia, and I missed this one, Australia. So we have lots of different continents, lots of different countries representing today. We see C4s from the ATL and Southern California. So good. So keep shouting out. It's good to see such a good mix of folks watching from all over the world this morning. So trying to think where I should start with this. I usually like to start by showing a sheet. So I've stolen a design already from the sheet, so I didn't have a full sheet in my studio to show you here this morning. But this sheet brings it to life for me. This is digital screen print transfers. As you can see, we have a bunch of different transfers all in assorted colors grouped onto one sheet. And there's a lot on here, more than I'm going to count live on air. But the idea here is that you can upload logos over on transferexpress.com into the Easy View Designer. And I really want you to hear this part. It does not have to be production ready art. So if you are receiving art from your customer and spending time to vectorize it, stop. Just upload it to our website over at transferexpress.com onto Easy View, and we will make it vector for you. And what's so cool about that is I can actually take 9 customer logos and drop them onto one sheet. And that's exactly what I did with some of the photos that I'm going to share with you. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit later how to apply these logos. We're going to pick a few and press them onto shorts, a bag, and actually a golf towel as an example live. But before I do all that, I shared some photos this morning in our Facebook group and asked you how much you could sell items decorated with this product for. And so let's pull up some of those responses, and we'll get a look at some of what I made in the video that'll publish here in about a week. This is a 100% polyester performance hoodie. And the question was, what could you sell that for? And so we have responses over here on the right that came in this morning, anywhere from $38 up to $45. There's a couple $35, a couple $50. So it looks like the average of what you can sell that for is about $40. So I've created a spreadsheet, and I'm going to walk you through all the details of this spreadsheet here in a second. But let me just find my hoodie here, which is line number 2. I'm going to go over to the sell price, and we're going to park $40 in there. And I'll walk you through the details as we go back and forth. All right, let's take a look at our next item. Also, notice on this is a photo quality design. So I want you to understand, with the digital printing part of these digital screen printed transfers, you can do photo quality. And we've seen a lot of folks ordering photo quality lately in this product line. So totally possible. Next item. This is a tote bag. And so you can not only apply this to polyester, you can apply it to canvas as well. This is a canvas tote with a 4-color design. And again, you don't have to worry about number of colors in the design. It's going to be the same price because we're digital printing it. And I have prices, I'd say $20 to $25 on this one. So I'm going to go ahead under the tote bag, and we are going to pop in $20 for the sell price. All right, next, let's take a look at our next item that we've printed, and that is this quarter zip. And so something I love about this process is small logos, because when you think about small logos, you can fit a lot of small logos on the sheet, which equals a lot of profit in your business. It lowers the cost of every logo that you can fit on the sheet because you're fitting more up and more jobs up. So again, this is Ultra Color Soft, formerly known as Stretch Litho Matte. We have a left chest logo here on this fleece line quarter zip. It's a polyester quarter zip, and we're getting anywhere, I'd say about $40, $35 to $45. So I'm going to go ahead and type in $40 for that fleece line quarter zip. And then also this high visibility quarter zip, which is Ogio. It's a more premium brand. We start to see the price kick up into the $45 to $50 range. So just by upgrading my blank, this is only a 2-color design, but you can see some of the fine detail that you're able to achieve. And so that's one of the benefits of the screen printing part of digital screen print transfers, is you can do the fine detail and just be able to heat apply that on. And even in a 2-color design, it becomes cost effective, because remember, we have real estate that's on that full sheet. We're going to drop extra logos on there because we're paying for the whole sheet. And so we're looking at about $50. So let me update those 2 prices before I forget about them. And so let's see, the fleece line quarter zip is a Sport Tech brand. That's right here. We're going to punch that in at $40. And for the Ogio version, that's right here. It's item number OE335. And the sell price of that, we're going to go ahead closer to the $45 range. So a few more items that I want to go through together. Hopefully you're enjoying seeing these finished looks as well of what we've been able to make with a single gang sheet. This is a set, and it's interesting. Some of you priced it for the set, and that was the intention, and some of you priced it individually. When you are selling in your business, something I always talk about is average order price. One way to increase your average order price is by bundling and merchandising things in sets. So think, instead of just showing a t-shirt or a tank top, how can I even photograph it and present them as a collection to increase my average order size, which is going to increase my revenue in my business. So in this particular case, you can see there's a very narrow design that I'm able to fit multiples up. It is the same design, and we're getting prices of like $25 for the tank, $30 for the pants, or $50 for the set. So I am going to price the pants, since they're fleece line performance pants, a little higher. We'll call those $30 or $35, and the tank $20 or $25. So let's update that. So let's see, the Racerback tank, that is a Bella Canvas item. It's item BC6682. We'll price that one at $25, and then we'll go ahead and price those joggers at $30. They are from Augusta Sportswear, item 65134. All right, and I'll reference these item numbers and zoom in here in a second for you, but just a few more items to go. Let's grab those prices. In this particular case, we have another left chest logo. So again, leveraging small logos on this performance polo with contrast color piping. We're seeing about $30 for this. So we'll mark that down at 30. And then we have another performance shirt. I believe this is a 7-color logo. that you're seeing here. Even though the dots are small, it's still adding color count, and the digital printing is really going to benefit. So we're seeing about $30 for that as well. And then last but not least is this Electric Heather Performance Polo, which is a Sport Tech brand, and again, $30. So I'm going to go ahead and mark all of these last items at $30, and then we're going to talk about all of the costs involved and how really to make money in your business. So we do a lot of how-to advice on how to print items, and I know you guys love that content. But today I'm going to show you a little bit of how-to, but making profit in the business is why we're in business. So I wanted to be able to talk about profit potential. And so hopefully you enjoy this type of content as well. So let me zoom in close on my screen so you can get a look at it. And I'll bring you even closer here. Let's see, zoom in to, let's go with 200% so we can work our way across. And Jenna was nice enough to pull all of the item costs for me if we ordered them by a dozen or so. And so what I'm going to model for you here today is a 35-piece job across all of these. When I asked for the pricing, that's what I asked for, is 35 pieces across all of them. That's what I've calculated my costing. Okay, so let's start with the garment type, and we'll start with our canvas tote bag. It's a Port Authority brand. You can see the item number, and the cost to source that was $12.60. Case quantity was 12 pieces to be able to get that price. The logo cost, which I'm going to go deeper in here, is 96 cents, and labor is 40 cents, which gives me my total direct cost. So when we think about direct costs, these are the costs to that go directly into manufacturing something. So that's the cost of the blank, the freight to get it to you. It's the cost of the transfer, the freight to get it to you, and it's the cost of your manufacturing labor. So when you are working on your business and we say direct costs, these are the costs that go into actually assembling or manufacturing the item. Really important to understand that those are grouped together, because you also have this thing called indirect cost, which we usually state as overhead. That can be your lease, your sales expenses, like your commissions and sales salaries, your marketing expenses, all of these extra things that aren't directly going into manufacturing the product that we apply to part of our cost equation as overhead. And so if you miss the overhead part of the business and you miscalculating those costs, what happens is you think you made money, but you really only costed that item with your direct costs and not those other expenses. And at the end of the day, you don't have as much in the bank account as you would like to have. And so, but let's focus on our direct costs for a moment and talk about how they were calculated. So first off, what I've done here is went ahead and populated the spreadsheet down in the bottom with the cost per sheet. So when I go over to the Transfer Express website, and it's still listed on there as Stretch Lithomat at the moment, it'll be changed over to Ultra Color Soft soon. You can see that you can buy this product in the full sheet. So if you can get enough business flowing through digital screen printed transfers, and I think there's a really compelling case to consolidate your orders into a process like this. That way you can fill the sheet and make more money. That's how it works. That's how you make more money. That's how you profit, because you're going to be able to order a sheet maybe every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or whatever frequency, depending on the volume in your business. Hopefully it's enough where you can order a sheet in the morning and in the afternoon and group up similar quantities onto that sheet to be able to save cost. And so when you look at that, I look at the sheet cost, and once I get to 35 sheets, that's going to bring my cost per sheet down to $6.30. So it's not that everybody needs to order 35 sheets, but I'm probably going to group the customers that ordered 35 pieces, even 25 pieces or 30 pieces onto one sheet, and just order 35 of them. And then I'll have extras that I can use later. And ultimately, it's going to be a lot less expensive for you, even if you throw away those extra 10 logos, because they're riding along and you're grouping them all onto the same piece of real estate. So $6.30 a sheet. So the thing I want you to understand, though, is you're building your business. This by the image pricing is going to be a tool to allow you to build a business and build enough scale into this so you can eventually get enough volume to group stuff up on the sheet and save money with gang sheeting. That's the way to go. But we have this new thing called individual image pricing. So if I'm just starting and I only have one job, I don't have to wait and keep that customer waiting forever. I'm going to pay a little bit more, but I can order 35 pieces of a left chest logo, and it's going to cost me $2.50 a logo. And if I can get them up to 50 pieces, I'll save. So you can see there's also image pricing, where basically what we're doing there is you are sharing the sheet with another customer. So Eric may be ordering from Indiana and he'll have this logo, and then DeWitt may be ordering from Ethiopia, although we're not shipping there quite yet, and you may have this small logo, and then we trim them apart and make sure they go out to the right customer. So you're just sharing the real estate with other decorators that are out there in the industry. But if you can get to the sheet price, get to the sheet price, and I wanted you to see that, and you can download this from transferexpress.com. That's $6.30. So lots of math today, guys. I love math. It's fun. I love making money, and I love helping you make money. So let's take this $6.30 price. You're seeing it down at the bottom here, right? I'm going to highlight it or change the text color to red so you can see what we're working with. And all this equation is doing, it's taking that $6.30 and it's saying how many logos can you fit on the sheet. You punch that number in here. In this particular example, to decorate these 9 items, I was able to fit 9 logos at the sizes that I showed you up front of the broadcast, which basically means I take $6.30 divided by 9, plus the cost of freight per logo, assuming that's all that's in the box that I'm ordering, and it's going to cost me 96 cents a logo. That's if I weight them equally. Yes, it's probably going to cost you less to do this little small logo than it would for this big logo. I give them an equal weight for simplicity, and just calculate my cost that way. So the more logos you can fit up, the smarter you can be about the sizing, more money you're going to save. Set up your price grids so they are that they play into your price breaks for sheets. So set them up 25, 35, 50. Less price breaks, the better. Try to move people to a similar quantity, 50 pieces, whatever it may be, because it'll simplify your life and how you order this stuff. So basically, that's where we're getting this cost of 96 cents. So as you can see here, up on the tote bag, I have the price per the item plus the 96 cents. The last remaining piece of my direct cost is my labor that goes into making it. And so all I did for the labor number here is I took my labor rate per hour that you see down here. And I'm just going to say I'm going to pay the heat press operator $12. And that's one beautiful thing about this product is you just need a heat press. Small little corner of an office space or a garage. Throw a heat press in there, figuring out what you're going to pay somebody to run that heat press, or pay yourself. If you're starting, pay yourself so you can replace yourself. And then I'm just going to say $12 divided by 60 minutes equals a cost of about 20 cents a minute to be able to apply transfers. I firmly believe that you'll be able to press these transfers in a minute. However, I did calculate labor at 2 minutes because that's going to give you time to trim apart your logos, to stage your garments, etc., to be able to capture all of the labor involved that the heat press operator is probably going to do. So add up your logo cost, your item cost, and your labor cost, and that equals your direct cost over here that's now highlighted in yellow. Okay, so I'm going to take a peek to see if there's any questions because I don't want to lose anybody as we're going through a lot of details here. Okay, so this particular calculator is one that I just set up. I could share this out. It's not really one of those download things that we do, but it's really simple. So I'm trying to explain to you the thinking, and I think you can set this up yourself very easy. All I'm doing is putting my cost of my item, my labor, my freight, my logos, and just built this grid in about a half hour. But I can certainly share this with you guys in the Heat Press for Profit Facebook group in case you want to build from this grid. That's fine. Okay, and there's some other unrelated questions, so I will hop on those here in a second. I want to maintain the same thought pattern so I can get through this for you guys. All right, let me pull that spreadsheet up a little bit closer again. And so those are my direct costs. Now you can see my logo cost across all the items is the same because I was able to decorate these items from one sheet. My direct cost changes just because my item cost is changing. And so, yes, of course, that high-end quarter zip from Ogio cost me a lot more than the tank top from Bella Canvas. So it gives you a concept of why we're seeing different direct costs here. Now, when we talk about our indirect costs or our overhead, I usually like to do this as a percentage. And the reason I like to do it as a percentage is because then I can add that onto any job at any moment. But in order to be able to do your overhead as a percentage and capture it as a part of your cost structure on every sale, you're going to have to do the work to calculate what that percentage is for your specific business. I can't give you that number. I can tell you that a business that's in a big, large factory, brick and mortar with a huge sales staff and a huge marketing budget is probably going to have a much higher overhead than a business that's like me here, that's out of my spare bedroom in my home with just one person working for it. So if you're an at-home business, typically what I've seen is that overhead be around 10 to 15%. Again, I'd recommend you calculate it, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how to do that. In a big business, you probably already have a handle on your overhead as a percentage of your sales. And that's really what overhead is. It's a percentage of indirect expenses compared to direct expenses. So let's say my direct expenses for a given period of normal time, probably not COVID-19 time, but normal business operation over the course of a month, I can lock that in and say, here's how much we spent on vinyl, transfers, labor, blank apparel, etc., to be able to manufacture goods, and park that over here. Maybe that's $10,000. Okay. Then I take my indirect expenses over the same period. Here's what we paid in sales wages, marketing expense, our lease, our electricity, all of those things that aren't captured in the direct manufacturing labor, and that should be over here. Let's say if this was 1,000 on this side, and these are completely fictitious numbers, maybe my indirect expenses were $200 to be able to get that business. So I would take the 1,000 divided by 200, and I'd get 20% overhead. And that's how we would do the calculation over a normal period of time. And then I'm just going to apply that as long as nothing radical changes about my business. That would be my overhead rate, 20% that I would apply to my sales. So the point is, get to an overhead rate. I've populated it on this calculator at 10% for a small at-home business, because I think that's the new way. Stay lean. That way you can make more profit. And so you can see the overhead rate. Now, I want you to see one quick thing here. So notice that the overhead rate is different on each one. So the overhead rate on that Bella Canvas $4.20 t-shirt is only 56 cents, whereas the overhead rate on the higher end item like the Ogio item is $2.13. That's because in this case, overhead is 10% of my total direct cost. So if the cost of the blank goes up, more overhead is going to be attributed to that sale and ride along with it. So don't miscalculating overhead. That's the point. Okay. So here we go. You have your direct cost, you have your overhead, you add those two together, right? We've calculated labor and overhead. Make sure you do that in your business, and that gives us our total cost. Now we can start really punching in those numbers, which was what can we sell it for. And up at the top of the episode, if you were with us, we did look through our Facebook comments on these items that were actually printed, punched in our selling prices for each item, and then it's pretty easy to calculate profit from there. And so let's go over to the right. And again, this was 35 pieces. Here's our profit per piece. And I'm going to give you a chance to digest that. Let me hide some fields so you can see the items that were actually printed, because I think this is really eye-opening. At least it should be for you in your business. Look at this profit per piece. And also notice how we approached pricing. And this was the example that I wanted to come through, is we did not approach pricing where we were just doing a straight markup or a gross profit margin, because that probably would have left money on the table in some instances, and in other instances would have priced us way out of the market. And so what I mean by that is, like, sorry, I got to get my cost field back open again. So let me just hide everything but my total cost. Got it. So I got my total cost here. So for instance, you guys said the selling price on this racerback tank from Bella Canvas could be $25. Now, if I would have taken my total cost of $6.11 and applied some blanket statement, like a 200% markup, I would be selling that for $12.22. that's leaving a lot of profit on the table on a 35-piece order. Also, if I were to take something like this fleece line quarter zip that costs $28.16, and I would have applied the same 200% markup, or if you're selling at retail, maybe it's a 300 or 400% markup, all of a sudden I have a $56 or an $80 item, depending on your math, and I can make a lot of money with it at $40, which is what we establish as being what the market would bear for it. And so you can have some rules about markup, but I don't want you to become so set in them that you fail to think about the profit per piece for your time in the business and really what the market can command, because you may leave yourself short on certain jobs and way price yourself out of the market on jobs that could deliver really nice profit to the business. So this is 35 pieces. So just for simple math, it's going to take me about an hour to produce this at 2 minutes per garment. And so what I did is I calculated at that 35 pieces, an hour of production. Here's your profit on that job for an hour of your time. And so compare those. Actually, let me just sort them by largest to smallest. And we can see that the most profitable items that we're going to be decorating in this particular case are the quarter zip and the polo. And then we got a high perceived value, I think, on the racerback tank. Usually you don't see t-shirts come up at this high profit, but because it was a higher end Bella item, I think we were able to command a little more for it from your feedback. But in the most case, outside of that item, you're seeing most of the items that can command the high margin are the higher end items, your performance polos, your quarter zips, those sorts of things. And you see things like coats, most people will be happy with a $4.65 profit for 2 minutes of their time, or $162 for an hour of their time. But you can kind of see the equation here. And so if we were to operate jobs like this on a regular, we would be making an average of $482 in profit at our heat press per hour. Is there anybody who would like to make $482 in profit per hour while paying yourself $12 an hour to operate the heat press? And so what I would say is it's not a, can I make money with transfers options? Can I pay off my heat press? Because at the math we just did, we're paying off this press in 4 hours of work, right? It's how much can you sell, right? And can you line up enough jobs like this? So I would say you need to focus a lot more of your time on selling and business planning and thinking about how can I create high-end products like this that connect with a target audience and a buyer that's going to be willing to value those and pay for those. Because the reality is you can operate your heat press for 2 hours a day and deliver a $250,000 in profit to your business. I mean, if we run the math out on this, let's just do it real quick. We said the average is $482 for jobs just like this, right? And let's say we're doing 2 hours a day for 252 working days a year. We're not even going to make you work the weekends. And we'll just do this math together. That's 504 production hours. We're going to multiply that by our $482 in profit. So that multiplied by that. And yeah, we've delivered 200, and you guys aren't seeing my screen. I did all that work without you seeing my screen. So here's what I typed here. We did $482 average profit per hour on these jobs. We said there's 2 hours we're going to work a day and try to sell 2 dedicated hours worth of work through this technology at the heat press. 252 working days a year, not counting weekends, equals 504 production hours a year, 2 times 252. And we're making $250,000 in profit while paying ourselves to operate the heat press. So are you making profit like that in your business? Some of you may be able to answer the question yes, and I would congratulate you on that. But I think most people would answer no to that question. And I think that's because we're taking whatever work comes in our door and we're not being intentional about the customers we go out and seek. There's not a whole lot of strategy to how we position items to the market, focusing on higher end items or a good, better, best philosophy. And really there's probably limited thinking on how we choose our transfer type and try to maximize cost on transfers. We just look for the cheapest price, right? And Transfer Express isn't a low-cost leader on screen printed transfers, but when you think about technology like this, I'd say we are a high profit leader with what you can do with the product. So that is what I'm calling the lean logo formula. My brother and I are actually writing a whole book on that. You just got the abridged version in 30 minutes of time. Now let's show you how to heat apply some products with these digital screen print transfers, which are now called Ultracolor Soft from Transfer Express. So we're going to come up close to the autoclave. This is all the space you need to be able to operate it, which is awesome. And we are loaded with our 16 by 20 platen. So one key to being able to print all the items like this is being able to get them onto your heat press. I always say the Hottronics press will let you press more per hour because of the easy loading, but they'll also allow you to press more styles of items. And to be able to increase your profit, you want to be able to merchandise more styles of items, get them flat to get accurate printing. And so in this case, I'm going to do just a pair of running shorts. We're going to try 100% polyester bag because I want to see if we can get that to work well. And then we're also going to try a microfiber golf towel. It's Port Authority brand. Just because I haven't pressed these items before, I wanted to give them a shot to do something different. So I'm going to swap off that 16 by 20 platen. Most of these should be pretty good with my 6 by 10 attachment, which is one of my favorite attachments for this heat press. This one and the 11 by 15. When I load that onto my press, I use this for all of those left chest logos that we saw. And we'll start with the shorts, and we're going to go ahead and do a print on the left leg of the shorts. So see if slide that on there. When I thread this on, and thread means adjusting it so the bulk of your item hangs below, I'm still unable to get rid of the seam structure on this. So don't be afraid to use a print perfect pad in combination with your item, because there's this seam structure on this side, this piping on the shorts. When I insert this pad in, now all of a sudden I can get rid of that piping. It hangs over the edge, and I have a nice combo of a small platen that allows me to thread, as well as a print perfect pad that allows me to hit that location. So now I have to adjust my pressure, of course, for my pad, because I've added some thickness in there. Just toss a craft paper on to do my preheat. And keep in mind, as I often say, if you've watched my videos, when you're using a smaller platen or pad, you need a lot less pressure than when you're going across your full 16 by 20 surface. Let's pick, actually just going to do a single color design on this. I have one that says, let's see, Subaru Motorsports. We'll try that one. It's actually pick a 2-color. And I'm just trimming this out. Small detailed design. Ultracolor Soft, formerly known as Stretch Litho Matte. I'm going to position that onto my garment. I'm actually going to put it on an angle because I want it to follow the angle of the shorts. With this product, we always cover it, and then it presses at 275 degrees to 300 degrees for 12 to 15 seconds, and it is a cold peel. So the machine will automatically open when it's done. I'm going to remove the item, and I'm going to peel it cold. Now, this product, Ultracolor Soft, formerly Stretch Litho Matte, does have a little bit of a clear outline around it that you can see, so I don't want you to be surprised by that. If you're able to visually see that clear outline after you cold peel, a lot of people will just throw it back on the press and finish it for 5 seconds. That gets that outline to blend in with your garment a little more. I don't automatically do that, but there are some colors of shirts that tend to show that clear outline, like heather gray, a little bit more than another. And I like to take that extra 5 seconds. I got plenty of time planned in that 2 minutes per garment to be able to accomplish that. All right, let's see, what are we going to do next? I'm going to try an Arlington baseball design. I'm just trimming it out over here to the side. This will be the design that we're going to do. Another nice thing about this Ultracolor and why we call it our soft formula is because it's soft. That's a no-brainer, right? But it's because I would say even we call a lot of products soft, and a lot of people do, but this one has something special on the face of it because of how we've developed the product to where it actually has a super soft touch. It's almost like a siliconized finish. It has like a different tactile experience to it. With how it feels. So I'm going to press this bag on my 11 by 15 platen. I'm actually going to rotate it this way. I don't know if I'll be able to split and thread this on. No, it's not going to thread on. And this zipper is in a really odd location and it's diagonal, which makes my job more difficult. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to drape the zipper off of the back. Now, something you have to watch when you're pressing an item like this is if it has a liner, if you're not able to have a pad or a platen to insert into this, then you're going to have an issue where it may melt together. And so you can always take a cover sheet, whether that's craft paper or non-stick cover sheet like that's Teflon based, and you can slide that inside of the item just to prevent it from sticking together. So I'm just going to slide that inside of the item. I'm able to get rid of all the other major obstructions here. I'm inserting it inside of the pocket. It would be smart to take another piece and insert it inside of the actual bag. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to waste too much time. And I really don't think this one will stick together from what I'm seeing on the bag, but take the precaution and do that if you're running these in your business, at least on the first one. I'm increasing the pressure is what I'm doing there because I took out that thickness of that pad. So I want to make sure I have enough pressure. I'm just going to take my design, position it into place, pull it down so I can see the whole bag and where the logo is going. Bags, always place your design a little higher than what you're thinking, because once items fill the bag, the logo drops a little bit. Cover it with a cover sheet and press. I say those things a million times a day. All right, so let's see. Dashiel asks, is there a temperature chart based on the product or the material? So with usually the temperature is based on the transfer that you're using. And so the adhesive that's manufactured on whatever transfer it is that you're using, in this case, Ultracolor Soft, will come with the recipe for what to apply that for. I will say as adhesives get a little bit more advanced and you start to see items become more heat sensitive, usually what I find is if your item has 50% or more cotton, if your transfer recommends a application range, go on the higher side of the range. If it's 100% polyester or maybe a tri-blend where there's rayon and poly that overtakes the cotton is a higher percentage of the garment, then go on the lower side as well because that may scorch. So, but the temperature, always do the frozen pizza analogy. You buy your frozen pizza, it tells you what to set the oven for. Same thing, your transfer tells you what to set the oven for. And as long as that transfer is compatible with the fabric that you're decorating, you'll have no issues. All right, let me see if there's any other questions. I don't want to leave anybody behind. All right, his Ultracolor Soft order is on the way. That was quick. Thank you. Appreciate the business. Randy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well out there in Fort Wayne. We have a lot of people. Yeah, it looks like a great way to group orders together. It really is. And so that's my point. There is zero doubt that if you asked anybody at our company how to order a single color design, we would all say that in 35 pieces, we would all say goof proof or elastic print, depending on what you're applying to, which is our standard Plastisol screen printed transfer. However, the economics change when you are already filling up a sheet. Now, all of a sudden, to drop a single color white design in here is extremely cost effective because it's basically got a free fare on the bus. It's just riding for free. And so it makes sense to utilize that real estate if it's available and you're ordering enough of that product to justify it. Also, the cool thing is this product applies down at 275 degrees. And so it gives you a little more flexibility on what you can apply it to. So we're going to do this towel now. I'm guessing that has a fair amount of cotton in the construction. It doesn't actually have the fabric content listed on it, but I can feel the moisture coming up out of it. So anytime you're decorating something that is cotton and may have a lot of moisture, you definitely want to preheat. Again, I like to run the higher side of the application when we're working with cotton, which would be up around 300 degrees and closer to the 15 seconds. If you ever have any issues with this product, the backing releasing because it's a cold peel, just stop and hit it again at a higher setting for more time. And you got to make sure it is completely cold before you peel it. So I've seen some people that have had some issues with the product. Usually it drives back to being a completely cold peel. So trim out another design from my gang sheet. Really don't have anything that's designed for this, so I'm just going to do this car show as if this were a promo product that we're giving away. Naturally, I'd probably leave the white out in designing this as show through if I know I'm going to a white towel for future reference, but since I'm just operating on the fly, we'll go ahead and drop this on. Just because I'm not confident in hitting the center of this towel, I'm going to put it down in the bottom corner. So there's another tip as well when you're selling stuff. Think about placement and what's going to be easy for you when you're given virtual proofs and samples. And I'm going to increase the pressure a little bit because I have the seams on this towel at the very edge, and it's just going to fight through that a little bit. I'm really not worried about any scorching on this, so over applying the pressure isn't going to have any negative result. All right, yeah, and the website does still call this stretch litho matte. It'll be a rolling change to change the name to Ultra Color Soft. But stretch litho matte is the product, if you go on there today, that you want to look for. So this is applied, and you can see we got it down there in the corner. We'll let this cool down, and while I'm taking your questions, I'll start to cold peel these, and hopefully we have good results. This one, the bag's cooled down, so I'm just going to try to grab the corner and release it. And we can see the application on the bag. So this is a 100% polyester bag, so you're not getting any scorching or anything that like that. This probably does have a waterproof coating, but because it's an item that's not going to be laundered, I'm really not worried about that coating. But if you are pressing something with a coating, make sure you test. For those of you that were on my Monday session, I do want to report back. We applied Ultra Weed to a waterproof jacket without using the denatured alcohol to remove the coating. And I told you I was going to wash it 5 times. Well, it failed. So I washed it about 2 times and started to see some lifting. So you definitely want to remove coatings when you're going on to anything waterproof, unless you're working with a nylon adhesive product, which tends to do better there. All right, we're going to remove the backing from this one. And there's my Subaru Motorsport. So I want to show you, you can see a very, very clear outline. If you hit that with the heat press again, that's what I'm talking about. All you need to do is throw that item back on your press, cover it with a cover sheet, and hit it for just 3 to 5 seconds, just something to get it to drive in there. And now when you look for that line, it's tough to see it through the camera, but now you're not seeing it nearly as much. It blends right in. So hopefully you can see the difference there and what that 3 to 5 seconds does on some of these cold peel based materials. And the towel should be pretty close to cool, still a little bit warm. Yeah. Towel's a tough one, so it's still a little bit warm, so I don't want to press my luck. So let me give that a few more seconds so I don't ruin the design. All right, so some questions coming in. Reheating it makes it look a lot nicer, so it's an option for you. Will it work on fleece? So if you're working with like a straight cotton or cotton poly fleece, then yes. If you're working on like a microfiber, like this towel or something with a pile on it, almost like a flock or a velvety sort of texture to it, heat pressing on those usually is very difficult, so I probably wouldn't recommend it for that. All right, let's see. There's some other questions. Okay, this is a good one. Odd question, but I'll take it. I like all questions. When looking at Potronics units, I saw a ball press for branding sports equipment. Really intriguing. Was wondering, was recommended media to press on a ball? Yeah, so the ugly Sharpie markings on balls, it's a terrible thing. So we invented this ball press. 2 of the products that I know work well on the inflatable sports balls are Sport Film Light and Express Print. I know we have more products, but off the top of my head, those are the ones that come to mind. And that ball press is just for sports balls, so you can grow that category as well and make some nice profit. A lot of people don't invest in specific presses, so it gives you a nice market vertical that's untapped as an extra value. Yes, you can order single images in Stretch Litho Matte / Ultra Color Soft, the product I'm talking about here. You don't have to do the full sheet. But as we talked about earlier, the full sheet is really where you maximize your profit potential if you can get that much volume. All right. And yeah, Glenn asks, this is all relative, right? Is it actually soft? I worry on doing large prints about the weight and feel. I think it's soft compared to the other products that I've seen out there in the market. Actually, I have a bag here. It won't do us any good here on video, but it has the same design done in 5 digital print techniques. And we were able to show that. Bob Robinson from our team actually gave a class out in Long Beach and was able to show that. And people loved the feel. And it was compared to screen printing, direct-to-garment printing, print cut, and then the Oki transfer process. And of course, they love sublimation the best, but that only goes on to your white or lighter color polyester, so you can't accomplish the same thing. So I would say, yes, it's soft. And I would also give you the tip that if you apply it to heavier weight fabric, so look at how the weight, how many ounces it is, heavier weight fabrics are going to show the product better, as will polyesters versus, super thin cottons. All right. And Kevin asks, is Ultracolor actually an Oki printer? It is absolutely not. So it's a proprietary manufacturing process, but I can tell you that it is not what you're seeing out there for the Oki process. I think you'll find this product to be superior in every way. It is not, however, breathable. So it does cover. The only way it's going to become breathable is if you create open space in your design. All right, so let's try to peel this. I think we're cooled down. I am having releasing issues, so I may not. Well, there we go. So it kind of, when you're pressing a towel or something, it kind of lifts the fibers here. So you can see it's completely adhered to the fibers on the front side. So it's not peeling at all. It's adhered. It's just those fibers tend to lift. So I was a little worried about that, but the finished result actually looks really good on here. I pulled that up, but I could always throw this on the heat press and hit it for a few seconds just so I deliver the customer a completely flat product. And then it also kind of texturizes it a little more when you hit it with the cover sheet. So this is Stretch Litho Matte, name change, now Ultracolor Soft. So we'll work through that in the vocabulary. Laura says her customers love the feel. So good. Thanks for some actual market feedback there. And then Jenna has shared a link, and you can go to Transfer Express Marketing Tools Free Samples. So that's a pretty long link unless you're in that group. So let me go ahead and pull up the website and show you how to find free samples. All right, so over on going to transferexpress.com. And you will see, you go to marketing tools. Yeah, under transfers and then marketing tools. And then there will be a link here where you can click on free samples. Down just a little bit down the page, click on free samples, and then you can select the product you want. And we do have Stretch Litho Matte or Ultracolor Soft. It's usually in the list. There it is. It's under Stretch Litho. So for now, just select Stretch Litho. We're working to update everything on our website, but that'll let you get the samples you want. And here is the simple link, marketing-tools/free samples. So I'll keep that there for a second if you want to go right to it. All right. I'm going to hang out for some questions, but if you got to get back to work, I understand. We're coming up on an hour here in 10 minutes. I would like to stay around for 10 minutes to answer questions, but the goal of this was to really get you intrigued about thinking about profit in the business and how you can deliver more profit in your plan as you return back and from COVID-19 and enter the fall season. All right, so let's take some questions. So John asks, what are the chances of scorching a garment? What causes scorching and what can prevent it? So I would say when you're dealing with any synthetic fabric that the chances of scorching a garment are high for most decorators. There are a couple considerations to be able to prevent scorching. It's all a time, temperature, and pressure game. When you apply heat for a certain amount of time at a certain temperature with a certain pressure, you're going to get scorching. And so number one is source a transfer that applies at 300 degrees or less. My two new favorite products are the one we've talked about today, which can press at 275 if you're doing a transfer. If you're cutting your own heat transfer vinyl, I love Ultra Weed. It presses down at 260 degrees onto polyester. So if you're using formulas that press up at 330, 360 degrees, you're going to scorch once you start to enter polyester into the time frame. The other thing that I want to point out, even some garments will scorch at 275 or 260 degrees, believe it or not. In one way that I see a lot of decorators damage garments is by having the seam up onto the platen or by over applying the pressure. And so if you're applying a ton of pressure on a small area, like a print perfect pad like we use today, you're going to get a mark. If you don't need that much pressure when you have that smaller print area. Seams work similarly. If you have a seam up on your press because you can't thread and get your item flat, that seam is raised, it's absorbing all that pressure, and that's why you get markings on a lot of your garments on the collar or the seam or whatever's up on the press. Sometimes people sell stuff that way. I think it's not as professional as it could be, and it separates professional decorators from novices. So pay attention to those details. But source something lower temperature, something lower pressure, especially when you're getting into smaller print surfaces. If that doesn't solve it, then you really want to start looking at maybe sourcing a different garment or investing in the platens that heat from underneath. We call them the power platens to get rid of the scorch mark. All right. Boom. So spreadsheet I'm going to share in our Heat Press for Profit Facebook group. So I'll share it right in the group when we conclude, so you guys can take a look at that. All right, I saw another question. Yeah, so Adam says, I love double pressing, gives the ability to texture it and one last touch up. Yeah, it just improves that quality. Those little details make a difference. And I think I'm getting to most of the questions. I got some reminders from some people, so thank you. And yeah, I think we're pretty much up to speed from everything that I caught. I'll look back through the questions if you have them. And basically, just want to say, sorry, trying to get these comments off. Basically, just want to say that try this product. Think about it for your business. If you have any questions about the new Ultra Color Soft, formerly known as Stretch Litho Matte, join our Heat Press for Profit Facebook group. Ask the questions. Also, I want to lead you into another session that's happening this afternoon. So Jason, who is our Senior Vice President and GM of Transfer Express, is actually doing a product showcase today. And so if you just go to transferexpress.com and click on the header image, it will take you to a post that talks about a bunch of different things that are happening in June. One of those things is the June 11th product showcase that happens at 2 p.m. Eastern. Just click the link to register, and he's going to go through, of course, this product a little bit, but he'll also talk about a lot of other products and the latest and greatest from Stahls Transfer Express. So have a good Thursday. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you get a long weekend. Stay out of the storms like we're experiencing here in the Midwest, and appreciate you guys joining live and all the comments. So take care.